What makes a millionaire? Well, there is no one right answer. One thing millionaires are good at is their mindset, skill set, and habits. Today's habits are so simple you can try them even today. So let's go. Number 1. Self-authoring. This is an activity invented by Jordan Peterson, the author of the book 12 Rules for Life. Self-authoring is an activity that involves journaling about you in the future, in 3 to 5 years, and it includes 2 scenarios. First one is your dream life. What you want to achieve, what lifestyle you want to have, what habits, what activities you want to do, and what you don't want to do in the future. The second scenario is what would happen if you failed, if your procrastination and bad habits won over. An interesting thing that neuroscientists found is that when people need to be motivated to achieve some goal, for example, to lose weight, the best outcome that they will lose 10 kilograms by the end of this year actually works much worse than the bad outcome, the worst case scenario. For example, if they don't lose weight, they will get a disease or they will hate themselves. In this motivator, a lot of fear is present. It is scientifically proven that fear is the most significant motivator on our life. And that's why Jordan Peterson advises to write 2 scenarios, not only your dream life, but also worst case scenario in which the motivation is driven by fear. So this is my future authoring that I wrote in Notion. On the first page you can see what my dream life should look like, and on the second one, the worst case scenario. Obviously, this activity is not a daily habit, but it's really good to reflect on your life so far and choose the right future direction once in a while. Next habit is 5-minute rule. One of the inventors of this habit is Tim Ferriss, the author of the book 4-Hour Workweek. He applies this rule to stop procrastination and get things done. He recommends setting a timer for just a few minutes to start a task you've been putting off. Once you start, you are more likely to continue. This is not necessarily 5 minutes, by the way. It can be 1 minute as well as 10 minutes. It's up to you. For instance, I was given a school assignment to learn a poem by heart. It was quite large and difficult, but I wanted to complete this task ASAP. One Saturday morning, I set a timer for 5 minutes and started actually reading it out loud. Once I started, I realized that, it wasn't so hard, and I could finish this assignment in a few hours. I was motivated by my action, and the next day I was already reciting the poem to my teacher. This rule once again proves that motivation does not lead to action. It's actually vice versa. The third habit is 1-sentence journaling. Even if you don't want to journal 3 pages every single morning as Ali Abdaal does, you can spend just 1 minute to write 1 line or 1 sentence at the end of each day. This habit is so simple and so tiny, but it gives you such great returns. I personally practice this in my journal, now digitally. I do it every evening before going to bed. It helps me to reflect on the day, on the mistakes I made or the achievements. And also after this, I'm more focused on what things I need to get done tomorrow. Habit number 4 is embracing failure. Any successful person had a lot of mistakes and failures. Failure is a way to success. I would even say you only fail if you stop trying. School teaches us that mistakes are bad. In life, it is the other way. We either succeed or learn from our mistakes. It's super important to accept our mistakes and never commit them again. Andrew Huberman once talked about 85-15 rule. It says that when you want to learn a new skill, for example, learn a new language like Spanish, you need to adjust the difficulty of the tasks in the way that 85% of the time you do it correctly and 15% of the time you make mistakes. This way you will learn anything in the most effective and in the fastest way. And the last habit is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a broad topic that includes a lot of skills that you need to learn. Some of them include decisiveness, stress management, conflict resolution, and empathy. In order to be more decisive, you need to set clear goals and also traditionally write pros and cons list. It's obvious that you need to know what you want, but oftentimes it's easier said than done. The next thing that will help you to be more decisive is a long-term impact. Think about not only your instant gratification things that your decision will influence, also what would happen if you chose that in a year or 2 or 5 or 10. Obviously, it's not always easy to see in the fog of the uncertain future, but still, long-term perspective always helps. The next thing that you should do before making a major decision is consult trusted advisors. Ali Abdal once mentioned such a thing as mental board of advisors. It might be helpful if, for example, you would like to ask some successful entrepreneurs to give you some advice, but you just don't have any access to them. For this, you need to have an idea of what your role models would think. In my imagination, I asked Tim Ferriss, Simon Gaggi, Alec Termozy, and a lot of other people, what would they choose if they were me? Sometimes it's hard to guess, but if their beliefs align with my beliefs, then this method is quite helpful. In order to make more effective decisions, you need to set time limits. They will help you avoid overthinking and procrastination. Having a deadline encourages action, so the things that will help you manage stress are boundary setting. Millionaires establish clear boundaries between their work and personal life, allowing for relaxation and downtime. Healthy lifestyle, working out, which reduces tension and helps you rest from the hustle culture. Time management, prioritizing tasks and managing time efficiently can reduce the pressure of deadlines. The next thing you should be good at is conflict resolution. Businessmen never avoid an inevitable conflict. Instead, they try to resolve it, and if something goes wrong, it helps them to learn from their mistakes and the mistakes of others. And the last thing you need to keep in mind is empathy. To be good at networking, successful people refrain from judgments and assumptions about people's experiences or emotions. Obviously, all these habits won't make you a millionaire overnight, but they can help you keep up with your health, long-term goals, and priorities, while trying your best to achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life. See you next week. Bye!